Hi friends, it's your art teacher, Miss Barnett, and today we will be making a project for our holiday show called Polar Bear, What Do You Hear? So to get started, we're going to take a piece of 11 by 17 paper and we are going to be using a palette of green and blue and white. Don't forget, we're going to add some white to the green and the blue. And we're just going to paint this however we like, but we're going to add some tints. When we make a tint, we are mixing a color with white. So you can watch what I'm doing and let's get started. Now that I've created my background, I'm going to use this toothbrush and we're going to do some splatter painting. So to splatter, we're going to be making snow, so it's going to be white. I'm going to gently dip my toothbrush in my white paint. And then using this come here friend motion with my finger, I'm just going to spray this beautiful paint onto my paper, just like that. If you need more, we just dip a little. A little goes a long way when you're splatter painting. And look at that. So cool. All right. And that is our background. All right, friends, now that my background is set aside and is drying, I'm going to draw a pretty large polar bear onto this purple piece of paper. You're going to be doing yours with pencil. That way, if you make a mistake, you can erase. But to see, I'm going to do it with marker. So to get started, we're going to draw a sideways U on this right side of the paper. Like that. And then I'm going to come around and make the bump of his forehead and add an eye. Then we're going to draw a bumpy line all the way to the other side of this paper. Good. Then we're going to curve back down and make the back leg. Then we're going to start back over here and add a leg that curves towards the lower edge of the face. Now we're going to connect these two legs with a curved belly. And we're going to add an extra front leg. And an extra back leg. Now don't worry if this doesn't look exactly right, because we're going to be able to cover up any mistakes with some paint. Now we're going to add an ear, which is like the letter C, a mouth, and a nose. Super cute. We're going to create some texture, and remember, texture is the element of art that focuses on how something feels or looks like it would feel. And polar bears are white, so I'm going to dip my brush or my sponge in my white paint, and then I'm just going to press and create that nice fluffy texture that you see on a polar bear. I'm going to go all the way to the edge. Just like that. And you can watch me do the rest. Here we go. All right, friends, now that I have finished my sponging of the texture of the polar bear's fur, I'm going to set this to the side and we're going to let it dry. Friends, my polar bear has dried, so I'm going to cut him out and then I am going to glue him to my background. Let's get started. Friends, now that I've cut out and glued my polar bear to my background, I'm going to use a black pastel to trace around the edges of my bear. So I'm going to use a black pastel to trace around my edges and add short black lines and to make more texture for my polar bear. I can also come back in here and add the eye and the ear and the nose. So let's keep going and working on that. Here we go. All right, friends, now that I'm finished with my black pastel and I've traced my edges and added some lines and put the details back into my polar bear's face, I went over to the paper store and I grabbed some scraps of color and I you could make him a hat or a scarf, and just give him some winter clothes real quick. And I'm going to do that. We'll cut it out and glue it. And then I'm going to use some crayons to add some patterns for his hat and his scarf. Here we go. All right, friends, here's my completed Polar Bear, What Do You Hear project. I hope you had just as much fun making a polar bear from the North Pole as I did, and I cannot wait to see what you do. Let's get started.